California, so you could say I've never lived in America.
What you call it the United States of amnesia?
That's right, that's right.
How would you characterize the American people in a word?
Manipulated.
Manipulated?
Yes, totally. Not only at election time, but manipulated with the products that are being sold on television, being persuaded to buy things they don't necessarily need, or things which are not as they are represented. And one of the reasons I love Montaigne, and I do a lot of quoting from him in this memoir, Montaigne said, this is several centuries ago, he said, of all the vices, he said, lying is the only one that should be a capital offense. You should have your head chopped off. He says, our words are all that we have that bind us together. And once the tongue gets the habit of lying, it cannot stop. Which is why he was advising parents not to allow children, don't worry about them being noisy and this and that. Worry about when they start lying, because then they may never be able to break the habit. Then we have no civilization.
What do you think is America's greatest asset? What do you think is America's greatest shortcoming?
The shortcoming has come and gone, not entirely gone, but that was when we turned imperial, first in 1846, then on a big scale in 1898, when we seized the Philippine Islands and governed them as a colony. Jefferson always said that you cannot maintain a republic simultaneously with an empire. One or the other is going to go. And unfortunately, we've lost the republic now.
Do you see us as an empire?
Of course I do. What on earth are we doing all around the world? Military bases everywhere. I remember Forrestal, when he was Secretary of the Navy and later he was Secretary of Defense. Well, he said, wherever there is water, there will be an American fleet. Well, that is not the old America speaking. We supposedly minded our own business, which was business. It wasn't very glamorous, but I'm as one with Coolidge on that.
I want to get back to our America's greatest asset. Do you see an asset for us?
At the moment, no. We have traditional things on the shelf. We had the Constitution, which I think is a great asset. We had the rule of law. President Adams, one of the few wise things he said as president, we are a nation not of men but of laws. Now, when you get rid of habeas corpus, you've got rid of the whole court system, the whole of accountability. So I think that vestigially, I think it's in most Americans, or maybe it's just in elderly people like me who served in World War II. We did take the country very seriously. No, we did not have many yellow roses of Texas in our ranks. I enlisted at 17, so did most of the other kids in Washington. And it was permitted, and off we went.
The title of your book, Point-to-Point Navigation, is a term you used while in the military, huh?
Yes, I was first mate of an Army ship up in the Aleutian Islands, and you couldn't box the compass, you couldn't do much. We had no radar. It hadn't been yet invented for the United States anyway.
What's the climate of the Aleutians?
It was ghastly. I mean, you never saw the sun, the moon, the stars. So it was impossible to chart a course. Hence, point-to-point navigation. And if you were smart, you got hold of an Aleut Indian who knew the islands very well, the chain as we called it, and he would memorize it, and then he would help you as you steered your way. Here I am steering my way. There's the first mate, totally lost.
Why the title for this book, which is roughly about the last 40 years of your life, huh?
Well, the last 40 years have been somewhat confusing for every American. We've been through an awful lot, starting with the death of Kennedy and the various storms, Vietnam. We've been in the wrong place most of the time, doing the wrong things most of the time. And to make any sense of it, you have to do point-to-point navigation. You have to figure out one scandal after another scandal, or one mistake after another mistake, and hope that you don't crash and sink. That is my prayer for the ship of state.
The opening sentence of your book talks about being close to the door marked exit.
Yes, yes.
And you say that at my age, most people of my age are safely dead by now.
That's quite true. In fact, I thought about, as I was writing the book, so many people I write about are dead. I said, you know, I really think the title of this book should be Between Obituaries. They're dropping like flies, but that is not unexpected.
What will they say at yours?
I'm not going to be there, and I'll never hear, and I'll never know.
Would you like to write one for yourself?
No.
No?
No. I've written several million words. If they don't answer the question, nothing will.
I think of getting older, and your reference earlier to the Montaigne's essay, and this business about getting older is a lot about loss, huh? And not very, very significant in your life was the loss of your partner, Howard, after 53 years together?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that his favorite song was Our Love Is Here to Stay.
Yes, he's a very good singer. And I think he should have been a professional, but as he pointed out, he had the bad luck to come along at a time of the greatest male singers on earth, starting with Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra. And he said, you know, I would rank 192. Well, that is no fun.
But when you were both in Italy, he would sing at the local...
the festas, yeah.
Yeah?
He was very popular.
The little section in the book where you talk about his last days and a conversation you had with him, which just was so personal and poignant to me, where you say to him, do you want to talk? And he kind of shakes his head, and you say, why? And then he says, there's too much to say.
Yes, that took place, that exchange, and then he asked me suddenly, he said, how old am I? I said, you're 74. He said, 74? That's when people die. I said, well, you're not dead, and I'm not dead. And then he said, oh, didn't it go awfully fast? And that about sums it up.
I have a new philosophy, which is as you get older, every year has about 3 months. It does go so quickly, huh?
Well, I think it was E.M. Forster who said, it gets so finely, after you've finished one breakfast, you've started another one.
What was the most fun the two of you ever had?
Well, I don't know. We went around the world a couple of times. I suppose going through the Greek islands.
Uh-huh.
They were fascinating. Santorini, accompanied by Paul Newman, whose wife jumped ship. Joanne quit at the first island. She was not going to go island hopping with us.
You went off to the theater, right?
She went off to the theater in London.
Uh-huh.
So Paul loyally stayed along. He liked sightseeing.
Mm-hmm.
But every island that we came to, there would be a chorus of voices. Paul Newman, Paul Newman. I don't know how the word spread. We were on a very messy little boat. Not what you would expect a movie star to be on. All the kids would know, and they'd all be down at the port to greet us. And that was fun.
Shakespeare, you've read Shakespeare by the time you were 14 or 15 years of age. You published the first novel at 20.
No, 19.
19?
No, 20, yeah.
And you pushed the envelope introducing into the literature at the time. In the